Today we're going over the new Heroes Banner for Path of Radiance plus Entwined Sharena. New to phase, the mysterious legend himself, Stefan. We have a Rearmed ult for Soren, and then a dual ult for Elincia and Lucia. This is a very strange banner, and that's actually going to leak into the Grand Hero Battle unit as well. Due to Entwined Sharena, there is no 4-star focus unit. Instead, Boyd is the instant demote. No free copies, but he is available on this banner, so good luck. Like his kid version, Boyd is an axe fighter. For stats, he has 51 HP, 49 attack, 45 speed, 37 defense, and 21 res. Boyd has pretty good speed for an axe infantry and has excellent base attack with a super boon. He'll have that berserker higher base HP, plus he's got a super boon for that as well. For ult skills, Boyd has stuff. Shove is to move an ally to trigger attack and speed link. He then has even attack wave, in case you didn't already get the attack buff from the link skill. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. All of these skills are already on older free-to-play units. Sadly, that's also going to go for Boyd's Inheritable Axe. Campaign Axe Plus has 14 might, and if above 25% HP, you get plus 5 attack and defense, while inflicting attack and defense minus X. X is 25% of the unit's HP from start of combat, with a max of 10. If you have 40 HP, you inflict the max minus 4 attack and defense debuffs. To help sustain that, this weapon gives 10 HP after combat. This isn't the worst Inheritable Axe, but it's 2 years old, and it's the exact same as Sir Madonna's Wooden Tackle Plus. When you see the Grand Hero Battle unit's weapon, these old inheritable copies for the Demotes are kinda crow joke at this point. To take advantage of Boyd's high attack and decent speed, I would try Springer Lanku's Springer Axe if you wanted something a bit more modern and free-to-play accessible. Springer Axe can inflict long-range debuffs with defensive tempo support and can deal up to 20 true damage if there are 3 enemies around the main target. It's a pretty initiation-focused weapon, so you can use Tempest skills for extra movement, and player phase skills like Slice with Sparrow are fine in place of full no follow-up. For B skills, you could use Potent Finish for an extra attack. Getting the finished true damage might be an issue though, although it is possible with like Haste Slice's -1 cooldown. Another option is No See Void, or the new player phase oriented Harrowing Call, which is on Stefan. These newer dodge type skills have phantom speed if you want to run Gust or Godlike Reflexes. Now if you want a simple true damage plus special build, Momentum can work. Spiked Wall is also decent for its true damage and no guard effect. For other inheritable axes, Boyd can use Scarlet's new Doubler Axe, Wind Tribe Club, Fan and Foliage from the Summer Banners, or the recent Arena Axe from Gladiator Cullen. Arena Axe is pretty solid for speedier units and would be my preferred inheritable for now. On the Arcane side, Arcane Threma with no follow-up is alright, but Giant Axe is solid with its cooldown, true damage, and flat DR. As the oldest of the main melee weapons, we might get a 4th Arcane Axe very soon. A new Arcane generation is beginning with this banner. With Arcane Giant Axe, you can stack a lot of flat DR with new infantry skills like Duelist Blow, Pair Up, and Attack and Speed Faith. For more defensive power, Archrival and Comet have guaranteed % DR that works on Brave hits. Arcane Giant Axe and Faith can also help charge their high 5 cooldown. For other skills, Boyd's got a lot of choices. Perfect Attack and Speed, the Tier 4 No Follow B skill, or Infantry No Follow 4 can all work. Distant counter skills are always fun, and Boyd can use his high HP for Infantry Pulse support. If you combine instant cooldown skills like Giant Axe plus Momentum, you can also use Pulse On for instant cooldown on the follow-up attack. For Sacred Seals, you got Tempo, Flashing, or Heavy Blade are all fine. Times Pulse or Wrath could be fun. For Echo skills, Times Pulse is still always great, but you could nab Tumultuous Echo for movement, or go the Distant Counter / No See Disrupt routes. Overall, Boyd is pretty decent for a demote. Speed is fine with his high attack, and he's got more HP instead of defense and res, like a classic Berserker. Now the only real knocks are he's not a 4-star focus unit, so you have to pray to RNG, and his skills are something. For our first banner unit and only new permanent 5-star, we have Stefan. Stefan is infamous for basically being impossible to recruit unless you have a guide. He's also an insane unit, and I believe it's implied he's responsible for finishing Ike's training, plus possibly teaching him Aether. Dude's a pretty weird character. Now in Fae, Stefan will naturally be a sword infantry unit. He's got 41 HP, 46 attack, 49 speed, 37 defense, and 31 res. Speed super boon, fairly standard swordmaster stats. For old skills, Stefan has Gust and Brittle Tempest. He is a more initiation focused unit. The Vague Kadi is a 60 might sword, and at the start of either phase, Stefan grants low and -2 cooldown to himself and allies within 2 spaces if their special's at max cooldown value. If it's at max value -1, you get -1 cooldown instead. Basically, the Super Times Pulse effect just tries to always give you -2 cooldown from your max. For himself, Stefan has Sling. If foe initiates or Stefan is healthy, he gets up to +14 to all stats if there are 3 foes within 3 rows or columns. He deals 25 true damage if specials ready or is triggered, otherwise he still deals 15 true damage per hit. Stefan has flat damage reduction equal to 20% speed, and you double that against specials. Both of these work against AoEs. If you decrease the speed roll for doubling by 10 and Stefan can follow up, then he gets a 100% potent follow-up. Last, after combat, Stefan gets the times pulse 4 effect. Like the start, Stefan can get up to -2 cooldown from his max value. Worth noting, Stefan only gives super times pulse to allies, not the times pulse 4 after combat recharging. For himself, he's going to pre-charge Gust. This will give Stefan his higher 25 true damage, and Gust's percent DR will be ready. Naturally, this guy wants to stack speed for more Excel type flat DR, ending to get that 100% potent follow-up. Stefan's going for that high crit rate build. For a new inheritable B skill, Stefan has Harrowing Call. This is effectively another dodge upgrade like Nocia Void. It comes with +7 phantom speed and 80% AoE protection. You can inflict -4 attack and speed on the foe, and the true damage is based on speed difference between units. If you outspeed by 10 or more, you get the max 15 true damage. Now this skill has 20% speed, flat DR, and last, if you initiate, you move 1 space backwards after combat. Harrowing Call comes from Close Call 3, which is way easier to find than friggin' Velocity. This is pretty much the exact same as Nocia Void, we're just exchanging the Nocia Disrupt effect for Close Call's Hit and Run. This is better for initiations, at least if you want to retreat. For playstyle, Stefan's going to hand out Lull to neutralize field buffs, and he charges everyone special by up to -2 from their max. He will pre-charge Gust, which activates Vegkani's 25 true damage. Stefan stacks more via Harrowing Call, and the idea is to initiate, tank the counterattack, do the normal follow-up, and then the 100 potent hit. If you can do this, Stefan triggers a second Gust. He's got 3 movement and excellent Kanto via Brutal Tempest. Now, Harrowing Call's Hit and Run is kind of just a cherry on top. Technically, it can help offset things like Kanto control. Ideally, Stefan wants no follow-up for his 3 hits with Potent, so you can use Perfect Attack and Speed or the no follow-up Sacred Seal. He also wants Tempo to charge Gust. The Sacred Seal or Echo versions are fine, but the new Duelist Blow also has Tempo. It also has good flat DR, and you stack that with Vegkani, Harrowing Call, and the percent DR of Gust. For other skills, Stefan is great with Finish, but its 3 space condition might mess with Brutal Tempest's 3 movement. Additionally, the 2 Finish B skills are Low and Potent Finish. That's exactly what Vegkani already has. You technically can stack Potent Speed Roll, but I would just keep Harrowing Call. For fun options, Desperation effects could be great with the 100% potent hit, and Stefan could use this with Pulse On or Pulse Tempest for cooldown on the follow-up attack. If you want more cooldown support, Favor is an option, has a lot of true damage. It does lack defensive support though. Now if you want to use Stefan defensively, pair up might be better with like Arch Rival or Comet. You technically can double proc those 5 cooldown specials with Stefan offensively, but you're going to need to either trigger Arch Rival's cooldown perk or wait for Comet to pre-charge. You then need Breath type cooldown or Pulse On or Brave hits. Now, I know Comet is new, but Stefan isn't stacking a ton of attack or defense debuffs. He's definitely more of a true damage stacker. In conclusion, Stefan's a neat unit, but obviously there is very stiff competition in that Swordmaster class. We literally get a new one like every month, and the previous 2 had ranged styles plus unique passives. Vegkani's Kono support is nice though, we can definitely work with this weapon. Next up is Rearmed Soren, who is in his purple sage outfit. Maybe one day we'll get Ike in his lord outfit too. Now Rearmed Soren is a blue infantry mage. He's got 40 HP, 40 attack, 38 speed, 18 defense, and 49 res. Attack and res super boons, and very Soren-esque mage stats. For old skills, Soren has Ice Wall because the devs just want everyone to have that percent DR skill. He also has attack and res Havoc. If you got high res blue mages, Soren's got 2 excellent skills already. The third will be the new Arcane Blue Tome. Arcane Rex Bolt is the start of a new generation. We might not be done with the pre and post gen, but this is the 4th Arcane Blue Tome, so we got new base effects. At start of either phase, grant +6 attack and res, breath type cooldown, and deal with neutralization to unit and allies within 2 spaces. Arcanes aren't getting rid of Slang just yet. They are, however, getting rid of activation conditions. No HP thresholds for the next effects. The user gets +15 to all stats in combat. They deal 25 true damage per hit. They reduce enemy attacks by 15. Last, you get 50% DR piercing. Arcane Rex Bolt is fairly simple, but it's got a ton more true damage and flat DR than the previous Arcane Medusa. The +15 to all stats is guaranteed, and the 50% DR piercing effect is appreciated looking at some of the most recent banners who had regular percent DR stacking units. Now, Rex Bolt has some nice support with attack and res and breath type cooldown buffs. Deal with neutralization is always clutch, so no complaints there. Very solid new arcane option. To stand out, Soren has refined his Brave All's A skill. Refines magic states at start of either phase. If within 2 spaces of an ally, Soren grants +6 speed and defense, fringe bonus, and a fall prevention status. He also gives Assigned Decoy Twin to his support partner or the highest defense ally on your team. For himself, Soren disables adaptive damage to protect his offense defense. If initiating or near an ally, Soren can get +8 to all stats, 20% res true damage, 7 flat DR, and a free follow-up. If Soren has higher res than the enemy, he also gets brave attacks. Soren's brave attack res check is easier to meet than his brave ult, and he adds more true damage and a follow-up to potentially quad attack. Unlike his brave ult, Soren's +6 field buffing will apply to all nearby allies, and he adds fringe bonus to double those buffs. You get a follow-up to non-status, and Assigned Decoy adds a new 20% DR effect. Basically, if the Assigned Decoy Savior has like a Gust type special, then they can trigger the % DR effects twice. Assigned Decoy is still only going to go to one ally. The rest of Soren's buffs are team-wide though. To add to his support perks, Soren introduces Preempt Ploy. This is basically just a tier 4 ploy with the usual 3-row column res comparing condition for ploy and exposure statuses. Instead of pulse-up's free cooldown every turn, Preempt grants -1 instant cooldown before your first attack. To follow the footsteps of the million times pulse upgrades, this skill adds an attack and res bonus equal to your max special cooldown value +2. Preempt Ploy is better in that it adds extra stats, but its cooldown effect isn't the same as just getting free cooldown without fighting. If you want your backline mage to eventually charge like a Frost Moon or Glacius Nuke, then you probably still want Pulse Up Ploy. We joked about Braver Sharena, but Rearmed Soren is kinda just Braver Soren. He's got a better Assigned Decoy perk, and Soren gives a bunch of stat buffs. He retains his Brave Attack condition, and Soren wants to stack flat res for his Havoc and Ploy passes. Unfortunately, Refined Magic doesn't grant flat res. You could use Stillwater or Phantom res, but Soren only needs in-combat res for his Brave hits. Havoc's res debuffs plus Sabotage will be great for this. Now, assuming he has higher res, Soren can initiate and get -1 instant cooldown. He has Breath type cooldown, so on the first hit, he's now going to charge Ice Wall. The second hit will proc it. Soren can then tank the counterattack with 40% DR and 22 flat DR from Rexbolt plus his A skill. He will then charge another Ice Wall for his quad attack. Soren has a free follow-up if you don't want to use no follow-up. He also stacks a lot of true damage, 25 from Rexbolt, 10 from Exposure, 40% res from Refined Magic and Havoc. Soren gets his own full +6 field buffing, plus bonus double effects, and he neutralizes debuffs too. For other effects, you could run Speed and Res low finish if you have a Havoc to buffer already. Desperation could be fun, and Soren could use Lagu's Friend, but that's mainly to activate Ice Wall in the enemy phase. For other support skills, you can swap to Pulse Up if you wanted. Could be fun with Comet's -1 cooldown. Comet's 40% DR is guaranteed, unlike Ice Wall, and Soren could get double procs if there are no guard type effects. For another Preempt Pulse option, you can use Silence Ward. Its Nullsea Disrupt support would be amazing for Soren's Assigned Decoy partner. Overall, Rearmed Soren is pretty similar to his Brave ult, but with arguably much better support. He's got Brave Attack potential, which is always good to have, and these new arcanes are stacking some serious true damage. This banner has all sorts of surprises, and that includes the return of the non-seasonal duo hero. Technically, Anniversary Duo Marth also fills that condition, but I thought that was like a special one-off. We haven't had a new heroes banner with a duo hero since Duo Ephraim and Leon, who were the second ever duo hero. After that, duos were kind of just relegated to the seasonal banners. Unfortunately, Duo Elincia and Lucia will still be a limited time unit. Not the first Lucia I've talked about this week, but our Fire Emblem Lucia will be sharing her talents with her liege. Elincia dismounts to become a sword infantry with 40 HP, 48 attack, 49 speed, 31 defense, and 36 res. She has a speed super boon to no surprise. For old skills, Elincia has D bonus amp for distant counter with bonus stats if you stack statuses. She also has Nullsea Void for speed related perks and Nullsea Disrupt to use with distant counter. They're still limited, but nice to see these skills not locked to a single unit. For their weapon, pretty sure Elincia still has a MIDI, but this time it's called Bonded Blades. At start of either phase, if within 3 spaces of an ally, grant +6 attack and speed, empathy, and dodge to those allies. Bonded Blades is an 11 might brave sword with +3 attack. From Lucia, Elincia and her enemies cannot trigger any specials. For other effects, if within 3 spaces of an ally, Elincia can get up to +14 stats if there are 3 allies in range. She can deal 25 true damage and get 15 flat DR if there are 5 positive statuses on herself or the enemy. With that 3 space condition, Bonded Blades is kind of a more defensive weapon that fits the distant counter kit Elincia comes with. Thanks to Lucia, there is no specials in the fight. Elincia has brave attacks to power through, and she gets a ton of true damage if you stack statuses. The flat DR and dodge effects are also nice. Now for her unique C skill, Elincia has Ties of Crimea. After foes start of turn effects, Elincia neutralizes stat debuffs and cleanses 2 penalties from herself and allies within 3 spaces. She has Guidance 4 for 2 space warping for allies. If near allies, Elincia gets plus 5 stats, 7 true damage and flat DR, full no follow-up effects, 5th% DR piercing, and heals 7 HP on hit. Basically, Elincia has the same penalty cleansing as Ninja Saline. You get the 3 range compared to Makai's 2 range, but Makai harsh commands a stat debuff. Still, it's a really great effect to have. Warping support is also nice, and Elincia gets more combat perks. No follow-up, 50% DR piercing, and the 7 HP on healing are all good things to have when you have brave attacks. For their duo skill, Elincia grants Bulwark to herself and allies within 2 spaces. She applies Divine Vein Stone to all tiles within 2 spaces for 2 turns. Bulwark will let Elincia set up a front line, but with no special activations, Stone Terrain only adds plus 6 defense and res. It will help allies though, and lasting for 2 turns means Elincia could cancel out enemy Divine Vein deployment. Of course, you can also use it to clear enemy Divine Veins on your turn. For example, wipe out Corrin's Vert Terrain, then allies warp in around Elincia. For a new inheritable skill, Elincia brings Drawback Gate. Like all the other 400 SP movement assist upgrades, this is just Drawback plus Conto 1. Only for infantry and armors. Not much else to say besides extra Conto utility is always good. For playstyle, Lucia's Distant Counter, No C Disrupt, and No Specials ability is being meshed with Elincia's Brave Attacks and General Support power. With the 3 space condition on her skills, Elincia is more inclined to sit back with Distant Counter versus charging in with say free movement. Of course, with things like Mythic Lens range style or Elincia's warp ability with allies, you can still go on the attack. Defensively, Elincia will block specials and has 40% DR with 3 flat DR sources. You could add a 4th with Duelist Blow, and then Gust or Arch Rival for the 40% DR special effects. Since we aren't getting the damage, I would say Arch Rival is superior to Gust or Comet. If you wanted extra true damage, you could use Godlike Reflexes, but Elincia does seem intended to be more of a tanking type of unit. Now with D-Bonus Amp and No See Avoid, you can set up to fight anyone, and Elincia gets more true damage and flat DR the more status is in the fight. For other skills, you can get even more true damage and healing with Finish, but it may take a second for things like Arch Rival to charge up. Pair Up is interesting if you want Elincia to be tougher to double. Potent and low Finish can be fun, but losing that Nelsie Disrupt effect is a bit risky if you do stick with the enemy phase distant counter setup. For Sacred Seals, you could run DC here. Bonus Doubler is fine if you got more buffers, and Attack and Speed Finish can add extra true damage on the brave hits. Overall, Duo Elincia and Lucia will be super annoying for anyone who relies on specials. Her own burst might not be that high without her special herself, but Elincia has those brave hits to try and overwhelm the enemy. The ally warping and penalty cleansing are both nice perks to have for a frontliner. Kinda wish Elincia herself had warping for more drawback options. Last up for today is Brave Sharena 2, or Entwined Sharena. Sharena's got similar traits to her recent ult, but some of them have been adapted to the Entwined support partner focus. For her Entwined stat boost, Sharena grants plus 2 attack and speed, pretty universal combo. Sharena is a Lance Cavalier with 40 HP, 48 attack, 49 speed, 35 defense, and 23 res, speed super boon, and fairly standard offensive spread for melee counts. For old skills, Sharena has attack and speed excel and arch rival. Hopefully Sharena has some cooldown skills. Sharena's new lance is the same from the Tempest Trowels, I think. Azure of Asker has the exact same extra action ability as Brave Sharena for allies within 3 spaces. However, Sharena can also trigger this effect for her support partner, and from the wording, this seems to be from any range on the map. For Sharena herself, she's gonna get Slaying. If initiating or near an ally, Sharena can get up to plus 14 to all stats if there are 3 allies within 3 rows or columns. She has low speed and defense to neutralize field buffs. Sharena has her 100% potent follow-up effect, same as her Brave Ult. Last, Sharena can get up to 25 true damage and 15 flat DR if there are 5 positive statuses in the fight, exact same as Elincia. For the most part, Sharena's gonna hit 3 times and she's got good true damage and flat DR perks. The extra actions for allies are the same, but for her support partner specifically, it just works from anywhere, at least that's what I'm assuming. With the S+ rank Entwined support, those allies will also get the extra plus for attack and speed. Sharena's unique C skill is Entwined Onrush. Again, like her Brave Ult, this is where Sharena gets her own extra action. Similar to the weapon, it seems like her support partner can initiate from anywhere and Sharena gets refreshed. For new effects, on either phase, Sharena grants Incited, Resonance Blades, and no follow-up to allies within 3 spaces. She gets Conto Distance +1 with +1 movement. In combat, Sharena gets another +5 stats, 7 true damage and flat DR, and then no guard. No Fancy Creation Pulse status this time, but Sharena's stacking in combat stats with reliable no follow-up. That'll help get those 3 hits with potent, and no guard will help charge Arch Rival. Last new inheritable skill on the banner is Assault Impetus. Despite the name, this is a momentum offshoot. We actually went a whole year without a second momentum holder. Sigurd is real salty about not getting that remake. Now generally speaking, Assault Impetus has the exact same cooldown effect as regular momentum. That's the second half of the skill. Move 3 spaces to get -1 instant cooldown, or move 1 to 2 spaces for -1 cooldown. Unlike regular pre-and-pulse type instant cooldown effects, momentum works for AoE specials. The new effects aren't super crazy and might not benefit some old momentum users. If initiating or near allies, you inflict -4 speed and defense, deal true damage equal to the higher of 20% speed or defense, and then get 50% DR piercing. That's the assault part of the skill name. Regular momentum has that -4 attack and defense debuffs, a free follow-up, and up to 20 true damage based on movement. Technically, that could give more true damage if you move really far. The free follow-up attack can also benefit slower units, and depending on who you face, DR piercing might not change the matchup. There has been a little resurgence of regular percent DR effects. Doesn't hurt to have piercing if you don't need the follow-up. That being said, Assault Impetus is not available for infantry. To be fair, they did already have a lot of cooldown skills. Now, if you want to inherit this new momentum, then you need Flow Refresh 3, not available on any demotes or free-to-play units, so good luck. Entwined Sharena is like Brave Sharena, who was kinda like Duo Sharena. For general support, Sharena's giving out stats and no follow-up. Her extra action abilities are really powerful, and if you have a support partner, then it seems like you can just activate them from outside 3 spaces. For her own combat, if Sharena moves 3 spaces versus a red foe, she will instantly trigger Arch Rival. You would need Breath type cooldown for a potential double proc, but with that 100% potent hit, it is possible. For other color matchups, Sharena will proc Arch Rival on her follow-up or potent hit thanks to no guard. Like any offensive unit, Sharena wants to stack more attack and speed, and she's got true damage from Assault Impetus plus her unique skills. She also gets flat DR via Excel, although you could run Blue Skies for more true damage at the cost of flat DR, bit of an expensive side grade. For other skills, Sharena could use Gale Force Mist and still get the 40% damage reduction, maybe not necessary for a unit who can self-refresh. If you have outside cooldown support, you could use AoE specials with Assault Impetus. Speaking of cooldown, Sharena could also use Favor. These skills didn't exist when Brave Sharena came out, but she too could use them if you want. Rally reposition an ally, have that ally initiate, and then Sharena gets refreshed, now with Favor's buffs ready to fight. With Favor, you still get DR piercing, true damage, and cooldown exactly like Assault Impetus. It's just in a different manner, and you can pass those effects to an ally. For more skills, Haste Slice could be used on the lower cooldown. Sharena could use Clash Sacred Seals or Heavy Blade. Hardy Bearing could maybe mess with certain Vantage Sword users, and then Desperation would be nice if Sharena gets low. She does not have Miracle this time, but Sharena's kit works on low HP just fine. In conclusion, if you liked Brave Sharena, then Entwined does offer more of the same. Entwined has a more standard percent DR plus flat DR setup, which may not be as safe as Miracle. Her extra actions are better though if you have that support partner. That will be it for this new Heroes banner. Very weird banner in terms of surprises. Stefan's finally in, new Arcane Generation, non-seasonal dual hero, and another momentum skill. In fact, the weirdness doesn't end there. Grommo is the Grand Hero Battle unit. I played Path of Radiance like a decade and a half ago. I do not remember who this dude was at all. However, seems like the devs really like Grommo because he's got a ridiculous weapon, and I said that after Halloween Randall's pretty impressive showing. I'll talk about what all the hubbub is about for this dude next time. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.